Hi guys and welcome back to another podcast. Yeah, and this one's going to be a little bit different. So we've come across some new information today and we're going to play a bit of devil's advocate, aren't we?
Yeah, so you've seen in the Scottish Sun, trouble on the NC500 again.
Again, yeah. So the NC500, as in its name, is a 500 scenic drive route, kind of like the Scottish version of the 66. Is it the Route 66?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a kind of a Scottish version of that. So it starts at Inverness. You do 500 miles around the north coast of Scotland, meeting back up at Inverness again. Now, I was quite surprised when I learned some numbers here, so some quick facts.
Okay.
So did you know how many motorhomes and campervans go around that little route every year?
Go on.
200,000 vans do that route every year.
Right, is that just motorhomes and campervans, or is that in cars included?
No. That is just motorhomes.
200,000 motorhomes?
200,000. This is what's reported. We will make sure we tag all of our
That seems
sources below, yeah.
That seems hard to believe.
200,000 apparently do it every single year.
Motorhomes and campervans.
And campervans. So we had a short break while Andrew just quickly fact-checked because I knew I was right and he said I was wrong.
I just find it difficult to believe that 200,000 motorhomes visit the Highlands every year.
Right, okay, but this has come from an actual news report that has come from what the Scottish Council have said, that 200,000 motorhomes visit the Highlands every year.
Yeah. Like I say, I just find there's only 300,000 motorhomes in the country, so
they could have visited 4 or 5 times through the year.
So it's quite interesting. So yeah, okay. So we've just fact checked that.
So back in 2019, there was a report done by Glasgow University and the Tourism Board. Do you know roughly how much they reckon is brought in tourism costs just because of the NC500?
Well, I've just had a quick read up on it, so we're gonna let's see if our figures match. So, what was your figure?
£22.8 million.
Yeah, I got a figure of 22.6 million, so it's pretty close.
Yeah, and that was back in 2018. The report was between 18 and 19, so that's a few years out of date. I can imagine that.
But even so, that's an awful lot of money.
It was, and they sent out 300 questionnaires to local businesses. Only 268 actually participated in this, but they said because of motorhomers, 78% of their profit came from motorhomes.
Yeah.
That to me is just like mind blowing.
Okay.
That's how much extra income they get. 78%.
Yeah. Well, 22 million. I mean that's an awful lot of money.
Obviously, that doesn't count everybody, and they did try to do quite a big spectrum of shops. Okay. But that's obviously who took part in it.
So, any more facts and figures?
That's about it, I think, for now.
So what we're saying is then that it's profitable for the businesses that are on the NC500.
Yep.
But we've got a problem with the locals that aren't in business.
So last year, anybody who doesn't know, Scotland Council actually put a plan forward, and they did something which was like a £40 scheme. So
this is the Highland Council. We need to be careful about who we're talking about. So this is the Highland Council. Yeah, but the problem is here, I know where we're going to go with this. This is the Highland Council, and then there are local councils.
Yes.
So the scheme is by the Highland Council.
Right. Okay. So the Highland Council came up with this scheme. It was £40, and it gave you. It was like a mini passport for 7 days to go around the NC500, or roughly around that area, them areas.
How many car parks?
12.
So we're only talking about 12 car parks, but £40 is not bad if you're going to use all 12 car parks.
Right.
But you've got to do it in 7 days.
Yes, but not just that. These car parks aren't for you to just park in there during the day. They are for overnight car parks.
Yeah.
So that you can stop at one of these 12 car parks. You could also use selected swimming pools and sports centres and things, so you could have a shower and whatever else. A lot of these car parks didn't actually have any other facilities. So they didn't have water.
Yep.
They didn't have any disposal sort of things. They did tell you where you could go, but you could go to them anywhere.
Yeah, so I've seen the map from the Highland Council of these 12 car parks. None of them have waste facilities or water facilities, but Campra, who we know about already, Campaign for Real Airs, have given the council the closest place to go to do a toilet dump and to get some water. Not necessarily very close to these car parks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The issue has come about, so today, literally a couple of hours ago, it has been reported that 2 of these car parks, which are council car parks, their local council doesn't want motorhomes using them.
Yeah, so this is Sutherland Local Council.
It is.
Versus now the Highland Council.
Right.
So there's a little bit of history, isn't there? Because the Highland Council started the NC500 and promoted it, and it all looked good. Then all of a sudden, it's just become overwhelmed. As you say, 200,000 motorhomes in the Highlands. Not necessarily all doing the NC500, because Highlands includes, I'm guessing,
everywhere.
Sky, John O'Groats. I know John O'Groats is on the NC500.
But what you've got to remember is we didn't necessarily do the NC500. We hit the road, the NC500, but we only went as high as John O'Groats and then came back down to the side. We didn't actually do the whole route.
Yeah.
So a lot of, I know these 200 vans were going in the Highlands, but not all of them were actually using the NC500.
Yeah.
But yes, I understand what you mean by the fact that these local councils aren't exactly happy with the amount of people that are using these specific car parks, because they aren't very big, are they?
No, there are 2 car parks that are now under Sutherland Council, and the council members aren't happy at all with them. They are, to be fair, tiny car parks, and on the list it says that they're constantly full, and I'm not surprised. I've had a look on Google Maps. There's only 5 or 6 spaces in each one, and there's no facilities. So you can kind of understand how the local councils and the local people are reacting a little bit.
It's right, okay. So we are giving you a pre-warning now, okay? So we've given you the highlights of what we've researched and done a bit of work into. We can see both sides, can't we? And we can't really voice both sides together. So we've decided I'm going to voice the fact of being a local, and you're going to be a motorhomer, and then that way we can kind of get both points across of how we feel, but separately.
I think we've got to accept that the Highland Council have promoted the NC500. It's out there now. You can't withdraw that. That's happening. You know, people are going to go. The car parks that they've provided are the issue. It feels like the local campsites are being done out of a bit of business. So I'm playing which bit?
You're playing the wrong bit.
I'm playing the motorhome.
You need to be the motorhome.
I'm the motorhome.
And I'm going to be, because my first point is, okay?
Yeah.
So this scheme came out last year. They only ever published, as of today, they only ever published one article letting you know how many people had actually bought these passes. Now, how I see it is, if you're going to go away or abroad on holiday for these beautiful views, because anybody who's done the NC500, they go up there because it is spectacular views. You are paying a premium price to go for these views. Only 40-something people bought this last year. Okay? 40-odd people. Out of them 200,000 vans that are up in the Highlands, only 40 people paid that £40. So my argument is, you want to go abroad, you want to see all these beautiful views, why aren't you willing to pay for them?
Okay, first and foremost, I want to go as cheaply as possible. I want to do this NC500. I want to take my time. I know some people do it very, very quickly, but I want to take my time because we've got all the time in the world. So, but I don't want to be paying campsite fees.
Right, but we've given you a cheap option. You'll get paying £40 for 7 nights of camping. Why aren't you paying that?
Because there's no facilities. You're just asking me to park overnight in a car park with no facilities.
That's brilliant, okay. What about when you go to another place, Scarborough, or one of the hundreds of other airs that there is around the country, or other car parks that are £10 a night that have nothing but it's just a car park?
No, you're wrong, because airs do have fresh water and a toilet dump.
But not all of them.
Most of them do. why am I paying £10? Why am I paying £40 to stop in a car park? This is all wrong. Right,
but we've also supplied you with a shower. Like my argument is, and it is, we both kind of agree on it. Like this is the only way we could kind of get our point across. Is we see where locals come from at the fact of we didn't think £40 was bad. Not necessarily. We've paid a lot more to sit in a car park with nothing, and we have.
If it was me and you, if we were doing the NC500 again, not that we did it all, but if we were going to do it, I'd pay the £40 for 7 nights. I'd be happy with that, knowing that you've got a car park. But there's no guarantee you can park in those car parks. We've just said the 2 that are being talked about are constantly full, and there's only 5 or 6 spaces. So even if you buy this £40 ticket, it doesn't guarantee you a space.
Not just that, something else that I was quite shocked by. You were only allowed to park from 10 o'clock at night till 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That seems extremely late to be parking up to get ready to go to bed.
I think the thing is that the car parks are chargeable till 10 o'clock. So I think you could go and park in the car park till 10, but you'd have to pay for it. And then from 10 till 8, you've got to pay, you'd use your ticket then that you've purchased for £40.
See, that seems a bit of a squeeze.
But it's still first come, first serve, so you're not guaranteed a place.
And some of these car parks, you do have to park in an actual motorhome bay.
And the motorhome bays, and in these 2 in particular that we're looking at, the motorhome bays aren't very big. There's none of this 6 metres between each one, which we know from Scarborough. I mean, that was a big factor in the decision at the Scarborough problem. So, I don't know. You can see how motorhomers and campervanners are saying, right, we want to come round, we want to come to visit your area. You've told us how fantastic it is. We're not buying we're not paying £40 for 7 nights because we're not guaranteed a place. There's no toilet and water, and I've got to go to another building to do a shower. That just seems like a lot of chew on. But I just want to be travelling. I want to sleep, move on, and know where I'm staying.
So that's the reason that a lot of people motorhomes won't buy the pass. So right next to these, we've done a bit of research. So right next to all of these car parks that they are trying to stop closing, there is campsites. These campsites aren't the cheapest.
Well, the one at Golspie, there's a campsite close by, and it's £30 a night. So you look at that and you think, well, okay, I'm on a campsite, it's £30. If I did that at every place I want to stop around the NC500, that's instantly a very, very expensive thing to do.
But going back to my point before, yes, I understand it is an expensive thing to do. You own an expensive vehicle and you want to make the most of the expensive vehicle you have. Fine, I get that. But people still pay an absolute fortune to go abroad.
Yeah.
To go, and you go 9 times out of 10, you are going to these abroad places for the views, for the culture, for whatever that place has to offer. You're going to Scotland to do exactly the same. Yeah. So surely you must be willing to pay some sort of premium to stay in these locations rather than doing it all for free.
So I've got a fact for you.
How are them?
So I want you to have a guess. What percentage of people don't park in campsites, in designated campsites around the NC500?
The percentage?
The percentage.
I'd probably say about 80%.
Don't park in designated places. It's 27%.
But wait, what do you mean by designated? So park for nights, or what do you mean by...
Wild camping. So
but there is nowhere to wild camp on the NC500.
So 3/4, and this is another fact thing by the council, basically 3/4 of people that do the NC500 either park on campsites, airs, or the council car parks.
Okay, we didn't park in one.
No, we didn't.
When we did our journey from Land's End to John O'Groats, the only place that we actually paid to stop in was Granny Neek's Ham, whatever it's called.
Haylands Hame.
That one. That was the only one we actually paid to stop at. Yeah. After there, we wild camped the whole way.
And the only reason we stayed at Park Dean was because the weather was going to turn foul and we wanted to be protected and make sure we were going to be safe.
And it was to empty bathrooms and...
Yes, we did that as well. And did we have electric? I can't remember.
Yes, we did.
But we also, between there, we stopped south of there and north of there because we stopped at Brora in a car park, and we stayed there twice actually.
We did.
Because we stayed there on the way back. And there was an honesty box. And there was only us and one other van ever used it. When we walked into town, you went to the hairdressers.
Yes.
Yeah?
It was a
lovely little place, wasn't it?
That's where the first time we had the drone out.
Yeah, it was.
It was. But yes, I totally understand honesty boxes, and that for me is I kind of like an honesty box. I think I'm like a bit weird like that because I do actually like to think I know it's going to something. Because that honesty box that was there, they were building a fairy garden right next to the walk into the town.
Yeah.
So all this money was going towards flowers and things like that. But I'm quite happy to do that. This is where I'm getting to the point of if you're going to go to these specific areas for the views, for the culture, for visiting, whatever you're doing while you're there, surely making some sort of contribution would be a better way of doing it than just going, well, I want to do it for free. Because that's that's where I am a little bit against motorhomes, because I don't think it's fair for you to be using their local facilities, to be taking up car parks, because we've done it, everybody does it, to be taking up too much space that a local could be using, who lives there, who pays council tax, who pays the bills, and who isn't, and then not contributing at all.
No, I think you're right. You should be contributing, and you're wrong about paying for places, because we paid further up from Brora. We stopped at the side of a golf course, and I think we paid £10 overnight, which was right back to the sea.
But then that's back to my point. So we were paid there. There was nothing there. You didn't get anything.
No,
so
there wasn't anything there.
Why wouldn't you pay for a car park?
Because you're not guaranteed a space.
But you weren't there.
No, but that wasn't part of the scheme. We hadn't paid £40 up front to drive down that narrow lane at the side of the golf course to find that there's no spaces. We took a chance, drove down, there were spaces, paid us money, and we're quite happy with that. But if I'd have paid 40 quid up front in the height of summer and then couldn't park in any of those 12 car parks, I'd be pretty miffed.
So could the council maybe change it and do some sort of scheme of where these people have to check in by text or whatever else, and they actually give you a list and say, yep, that car park's full, there's no spaces at that one, so then at least you know beforehand, we can't get there tonight, we'll have to move on to the next one.
I'm in several minds here, because I think the Highland Council have got the right idea. I don't think it's been executed well, again, because they said we've got these car parks not being used overnight, let's stick motorhomes in, let's make a bit of money out of it, put it into the environment because it's going to good causes, and then nobody's taking it up. I can understand why people aren't taking it up, but it's disappointing that motorhomes aren't trying it.
So if you were to be a councillor and they said to you, right, Andrew, you make that work, what would you change to make it work? What would be the thing for you as a motorhomer that would go, yep, I will pay that because I know that's worth my money?
I think I'd drop the pass completely. In all honesty, I think it's a bad idea. I really do. I think it should be done like Scottish Canals do. We stayed at Fort Augustus.
We did.
Drive in, got a space, paid for it. And that was us then. And then it registers on their website that there's no more spaces available at that site. Easy enough. If Scottish Canals can do it with their resources, why the Highland Council have put £2.2 million into this scheme, and so far they've made hundreds of pounds back. It seems senseless that they haven't thought about waste, water, showers, and how they're going to run it. They've put some rules in place, and they're not enforcing them. So, the local people are right in what they're saying is that people are dumping the waste and they can't do whatever because the facilities aren't there. And I'd be pretty upset if I lived there. And these are nice little villages that we're talking about.
So you're going back to that there, you want about the Scottish Canals, but that isn't the only places that do it, because so do the forestry commissions. So you do have forests all the way around there. So when we stopped not too far from John O'Groats, and an amazing little car park that had a dog park and everything.
Yeah.
And there was so much space. There was not another van there the whole entire time we were there.
We did the Seven Stains in southern Scotland, and that works. I know you're taking a risk, but you're still taking a risk in the Highlands on the NC500. You could pay you £40 for 7 nights and not stop in a single car park if they're full. At least if you're going into a forestry one or a Scottish Canals, if there's a space, you park it, pay your money, job done. So I'd be inclined. I like the idea of the scheme that it's committing you to these car parks, but if they're full, you're screwed.
So what can you as a motorhomer do to maybe soften the blow of the fact that you're taking up a car space, so that you're parking up somewhere on the NC500?
Well, the problem is, and the alternative is, as we've just said, there's a campsite close to one of these car parks which is £29.50 a night, and I've just checked. It's the same in February, it's the same in May, so I'm guessing it's just a flat fee all year round.
But with that, because I am going to play devil's advocate with that for one second. Yep, that one is a little bit expensive, but where we stopped at Granny
Heelan's home at Park Dean,
we paid £9 a night.
We paid £9 a night. So there are deals to be had, and that is on the NC500. It's just off the NC500. So yeah, you can get good deals. The one right up in the north, that is a tiny place. There are 2 airs right next to it, both honesty, but £10 a night.
But they both actually only have 5 spaces still. So you've still got the gamble of But
you have got to gamble.
Paying.
But it's you find a space, you pay your £10 into your honesty box, empty your toilet, and fill it with water. Now, I still think £10 is a lot of money because there's no electric. If these people, we've had this argument before, if these heirs brought their fees down to £5 a night, would that not encourage people to use them more? Because I'd pay a £5 a night.
See, I don't think £10's bad. In all honesty, I don't. You're moaning at the £40 for only 7 nights that you're not guaranteed a space. At least if you go into an air, you're not paying until you've got a space. This is an upfront cost, this £40.
Yeah.
So that was the main issue, is the fact of you go into these car parks with no guarantee there is a space, but you've already paid your money.
And I'm also going to guess that the two airs are £10, they're privately owned. I'm going to guess, like the one that we stayed at recently, you can just ring up and book it and book a space. Because we did it with the one before we went to the MOT.
The one we really, really liked.
But we really, really liked, and we were going to stay there 2 nights and stopped a week. It was down to the weather, a lot of that. But at least you could book it. With the council car parks, you can't do that. And I think that's the problem. I think that's the crux of it.
I think for me, it's one of them things where we've been to ones where they do have honesty boxes, and we have seen it firsthand, where we've seen people pull up really, really late at night, leave first thing in the morning, and they don't use the honesty box. We've literally seen it firsthand. I've seen the guy go and collect what was in it, and there was nothing in there. He kind of looked at us to say, well, are you going to put any money in it? And luckily, if we had just arrived. But it was kind of like, well,
you actually, when you put some money in, you actually put one of our business cards in, didn't you?
I do with a lot of places.
Just so that they knew that we'd actually contributed.
I think if we stay in for a longer period than just one night, because I know a lot of people have the big thing about, you should only stop one night and move on. We've stayed in a few of them where we've stayed longer than one night, not going to lie, but we've paid. And I've always made sure if it's somewhere that's got fresh water and somewhere to dispose of it, I'm quite happy to pay a tenner a night. We did it at the crossroads at the top of Scotland near Loch Lomond. We stopped there quite often when we were up there, and we always put money in that honesty box, and we used the local shop across the road, and we used the pub. Yeah,
I think we can see there's 3 sides to this, and I sympathise with all 3. I can sympathise with the motorhomer because I want to do the NC500. I want to do it as cheaply as possible. You're offering me this ticket, but I'm not guaranteed anything. I sympathise with the Highland Council because they've put a scheme in place. They've opened up the NC500. We know it's bringing in £22 million a year for businesses, which is great. And then I can sympathise with the locals because they're now getting 200,000 motorhomes. That's not including cars and motorbikes, if the figures are right, ploughing through these tiny little villages where the infrastructure and the roads just aren't. We know this from Sky. There's a problem there as well with so many tourists. The roads aren't built to take 200,000 vehicles. They're there to serve the local community in the villages to get from one village to the next. It's not tourist. So I can see all 3 points, and I don't think there's an easy fix.
I think the thing for me as well, as a motorhomer who we live in our vehicles, so for us I think it's a little bit different, but for a motorhomer who's just using it as to go on holiday or vacations. Can't say that word tonight.
Staycations.
Is that what it's called instead of a vacation?
Staycation if you're staying in the UK.
Yeah, but they might not be from the UK. There might be people who've come in and hired one and then done the... Yeah, so people who go away with their vans and their vehicles, us as business owners at the time and lived in a seaside town, in a small town like that, we know exactly what it's like when we can't park. We've been... I'm not even going to lie, we've practically been outside the village, and it used to be quite a humorous joke if a member of staff come in and they'd be like, where have you parked? And they'll be like, oh, we're in Scarborough. And they'd be like, is it really that bad? And they were like, yeah, because there's that many visitors in such a tiny place that they just do take up like every single space going.
And let's face it, Filey is quite big compared to these places that we're talking about. Yeah. And so I can imagine, we haven't done it, but I can imagine what it's like.
I think as a resident, I think people kind of forget when you're getting in your motorhome and you get yourself into, you're thinking it's not that big, we're fine, we're not taking up much space. And then when you actually do get parked, we've had to take up 2 spaces in shopping centres and places like that. You are kind of in the way. Like, let's be honest, we are quite cumbersome.
Cumbersome, yeah.
When we park up.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, we did Land's End up to John O'Groats last year, so we got to Inverness and we made a decision and said, well, if we're going Inverness to John O'Groats, which is the first stretch of the NC500, we might as well do the whole of the NC500 while we're at it. And then we spoke to people who were saying, just be careful, because some of the roads are really, really bad, and is it Applecross is really, really steep, and we just struggled getting through the mountains up in the ski slopes.
We did. I think that's what did it. Yeah, when we were driving up and we were going up to John Groat, when we hit that one road going up there, we struggled.
Yeah, we did.
Like, it wasn't comfortable, it wasn't a nice drive at all, and then we got up there, we struggled to park. Yep. They actually had a few motorhome spaces, but they were like car spaces. You were crammed so close to each other, you had to pull in wind mirrors to get in.
Yeah.
That for me was that was horrible anyway.
Yeah.
And then you did speak to somebody while we were there, and you did a bit more research while we were sat in the car park.
Well, we did, even on the way up into John O'Groats, and we spoke to people in the other car park as well, and we were saying, we're thinking about doing it. And they were doing the opposite way round and said, you're going to struggle, because the size of your vehicle, you're going to struggle, because some of the roads are just not fit for it. And I don't think people understand that. I mean, people do it in motorhomes our size, but I think they've got a lot of experience in driving, and I think they do this on a regular basis. Then we need to touch on people that rent motorhomes and campervans, and they've never driven them before, and they think, I'm just going to do the NC500. If you're not experienced...
Right, I was just about to say that, and I am going to butt into you, and I know you get annoyed at me, but me as somebody who's only driven Avandra twice, I've only ever drove her twice. I drove her once when we first got her, and then I drove her a second time when I got her stuck in a field. Like, I am so not comfortable in driving her whatsoever. If I'd have hit that first bit of the 500, what you had to drive up, that would have been me done.
Yeah.
And I don't think, personally, I'd be here if that had been me, because you were nervous. She wasn't coping very well. You thought you were going to have a heart attack. I think I would have come off the road. In all honesty, that had been done. So for somebody who doesn't know how to drive a motorhome at all, I personally think, and I've said this before, and I'll say it every single time we talk about it, you should have to have some sort of course to drive a motorhome. You do for a lorry, you do for a bus. I understand just on your cusp of your licence, but I think at the size of the vehicle, I am not qualified as a driver. I have a full licence, but I don't feel qualified enough as a driver to be driving a 7.5 metre motorhome. I don't.
No, I think there's lots of things that could be put in place, and you're right. I mean, under your licence, you can drive our motorhome, and she's 7 metres long. You know, and it's down to tonnage, but it's a big size. You know, and we know that since we've didn't do the NC500, how many times have we read motorhome got stuck on this road and caused chaos? Loads of times over last summer. There's a particular place, and I can't remember where it is on the NC500. I'm sure somebody will put it in the comments below.
They will.
There's a particular place, and I think it's a bend, and big motorhomes get stuck, and then they can't get out, and then there's traffic builds up either way, and everything just grinds to a halt. And this is a regular occurrence, almost daily apparently.
Yep.
So if you've got a big motorhome, don't do it. Find somewhere else.
I don't know why they would. Like, I can understand, yes, you want to go to all these beautiful, amazing places. Why isn't there like a park and ride outside of this amazing place that you can park your motorhome, jump on a bus, go and visit it, rather than putting yourself and other people in danger? Because it is. If somebody comes flying around that corner and you're stuck, that's it. You're done for.
Yeah. The roads just aren't built for 200,000 motorhomes. You know, we've got to remember that. So the solution isn't rebuild it, putting dual carriageway around it, because you can't. That's just silly. That's
well, then that's counterproductive. If you're wanting to put a dual carriageway down these lovely country lanes that everybody's wanting to drive on, you're turning it into a motorway.
Yeah. Like I said, there's no easy solution. You know, the Highland Council made a brave decision to highlight this beautiful, outstanding area, and now everybody wants to go. I think they're a victim of their own success, because it's been so successful. I'm not sure that they ever thought it would be this successful as it is. It's just got a massive name. As you say, it's like Route 66. Everybody wants to do it. I don't think they were prepared for how busy it's got.
I think for me, the thing is it's about a balance, isn't it? It's about a happy medium for everybody. I think tourists need to understand that, yes, you can't go to these places for free. You can't. Yep. It's not a viable solution. The councils and the locals are just going to do what they do, and everywhere else, they'll just ban you from parking everywhere. They'll get rid of all these wild camping sites. That would be it. Because there is a lot of speculation out there. I've seen it all over Facebook. I've seen it all on the internet. That Scotland have these rules about you can camp and park anywhere and this, that and the other. That is a total misconception of how Scotland actually works. You can't wild camp anywhere, not in a vehicle. You can get out your vehicle, somebody drop you off and go in with a tent and wild camp. Yes. But you are not allowed to camp in a vehicle.
No.
In Scotland.
No.
Like it is a very big misconception of, oh my God, yes, you can camp anywhere. No, you can't.
Yeah. No, you
cannot. But there's also another part of that. You also can't get rid of your grey waste anywhere. No. You can't pour it down the drain because we thought we could, and you cannot at all. No. You have to get rid of it responsibly. You have to take it to an actual place and get rid of it, just like you do your black waste. It is an actual thing. But I do think if you're going to an area and you are wild camping and you're in a lay-by or you're in one of the park for nights or somewhere where you are allowed to stop, then use a local shop. If you're in a place and it's got an honesty box, put some money in an honesty box. We carry pound coins and a few fivers with us so that we can use an honesty box. Like it's nothing to you. It's not even the price of a coffee. But at least they're thinking, okay, that's a bit of money. Maybe we can buy a toilet or put something towards putting a waste disposal in.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? If there are honesty boxes and the people are genuine with these, then they'll put the facilities in sooner or later so that money's well spent.
We've seen it. I have seen it firsthand. We've been to places, Lags themselves, one of our favourite spots. They get so many motorhomes in there. Now they've put motorhome bays in because it's such a renowned place that they make money off because they have shops and they have a cafe and stuff in there. They're now actually making it even more accessible for motorhomers.
So because you can't dump your black waste and you can't get fresh water and you've got to get rid of your grey waste properly, you can't do it for free. At some point, you've got to park up at an air or a campsite and refresh your vehicle.
You do on the 500. There is other places. We have found other places on other major places in Scotland where you can do it for just a donation. But on the 500, because it's become such a renowned place, they are starting to get extremely tight with it, aren't they? The locals are starting to have had enough now.
But what would you say? I mean, is there a fix? Is somebody in the wrong? Where do they go with it? Because it's just the friction between the locals, the local council, the Highland Council and the motorhomes is not getting better. It's getting worse.
It is getting worse. And I think it would be such a disappointment to lose such an iconic actual route. And it is such a beautiful route. Like, there is no denying it, which is why you have 200,000 people travel it every year. It is an absolute beautiful place of this part of Scotland. But it does come to a point of, when is enough enough? What is the way moving forward that it's going to suit everybody? I can't see a straight answer to this one.
No, as I said before, I don't think it's an easy fix. And but you said quite rightly, it's a balance, and they've got to find the balance somewhere. What is the balance?
Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think. We do like a bit of a heated discussion here, but we do like to keep it nice. So leave a comment, let us know. If you have enjoyed it, hit that subscriber button. Don't forget to hit the bell
so that you get notifications about everything that we do.
Also, please, if you are planning on doing the NC500, do your research. There is so many books out there. There is so many things online to help you do it safely and to do it, just to do it properly. Because recently we have seen there is a lot of vandalisation of vehicles. People are having their vehicles attacked. People have even had tyres slashed and things like that. It's not worth doing it irresponsibly because there is going to be people out there that are not happy. So just be safe. We're out there to enjoy ourselves and experience and have a beautiful adventure. Don't come back with a bad time just because you're being skinned.
Being a skin flint. Totally agree with that. So don't want to put a down on it, but go and enjoy the NC500 if you can, but do it responsibly. And look after the places that you go to. That's all you can say, really.
Tag us in your photographs. Tag us in your beautiful memories of travelling the NC500. Let me know if you saw any orcas or anything, because I was dying to see them and I didn't get a chance to see them. So we will catch you next week for another podcast.
Thanks for being with us. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you've enjoyed it, hit the like, leave a comment.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Till the next time.
This is just a quick disclaimer. Everything that we were talking about in this video is our personal feelings on it. We don't want to upset anybody, whether you be an actual resident of the Highlands or whether you're a motorhomer who likes to do it on the cheap. This is just our opinion.